So you've been asked to solve x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0. And you've been asked to do it by factorising. The first thing to realise here is that y equals x squared plus 4x minus 21, the very same thing as we've got here, but equal to y. That's a graph. And that's a graph that looks like this. And can you see that that quadratic graph goes through the x-axis at 2 points? The only difference between this and this is that this is equal to 0. So in other words, the y is 0. Well, where y is 0 on the graph is at the x-axis. So here we're being asked, where does this graph go through the x-axis where y equals 0? And we're being asked to do it by factorising, which we'll look at. So that's the point of this. We're finding out the roots. We're finding out where the graph goes through the x-axis where y is 0. Well, we're going to put this into brackets, and we're going to put it into 2 brackets. And x will be at the front of each bracket because we want x squared. When we multiply them out, we get x squared. But then we're looking at this number here, 21. And what we have to do is we have to think of factor pairs of 21. Well, we can have 21 and 1, or we can have 7 and 3. And then if we look at this number here, before x, it's 4. So we want the factor pair that's 4 apart, if there is one. And there does happen to be one here, 7 and 3. So we can put 7 and 3 in the brackets. And then when we multiply out, we're getting our x squared, as we said. We then get 3x, and then we'd get 7x. And we want that 3x and 7x to make positive 4x. Well, if we've got minus 3x and positive 7x, we do get positive 4x. And then we just have to check that we're getting our minus 21 at the end. And at the end, we've got plus 7 times minus 3, so it does give us the minus 21. And of course, this equals 0. Because what we're trying to do is write this in a different form. So we've rewritten this as these two factors, and we know it equals to 0. Well, in order to multiply two things and get 0, we have to treat each one as if they could be 0 to get the two answers that we want on the graph. So in order for this bracket to be 0, then the x must be minus 7, because minus 7 plus 7 is 0. So we know that one solution is x equals minus 7. And here, in order for this bracket to be 0, x minus 3, well, the x would have to be positive 3 in order for that bracket to be 0. So x equals 3. And can you see that those were the answers that the graph would have given us?